Now, shall I ask where you acquired this ecto?
You shall, my friend. That was a loaner from a very good friend of mine in Colorado. See, we have an interstate thing going on with this
Oh, okay.
project. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I guess my biggest thing is what do we want to tell the fans? Like, what's
Well, I'll tell you, Joe, we actually have had some of the fans chime in, and they had some questions of their own. So, I guess the next step would be to address some questions that you have, and we'll just take it from there.
awesome.
Cool?
Cool.
Cool.
All right.
Let's do that. So we're going to introduce a young lady that's part of our cast, and also co-producing this film, Miss Nicole Dobrovolsky. That's a mouthful. I can't believe I got it on the first try.
All right.
So come on in here, Nikki.
Nice to meet you.
You got my pipe.
So I can see everyone is excited. I've
Yeah.
met a
Very.
few people throughout this process, and well, they did in fact have a few questions.
Well, it's actually kind of funny. This was not intended to be our first film.
No.
I am the biggest Psych fan of all time. Huge fan of Psych. The chemistry between those two characters, James Roday, and I mean, they're so funny, and it reminds me so much when I watch that show of the shenanigans we used to pull when we were kids.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
Joe here, has been a really good buddy of mine ever since junior high. You know, so it's a lot that I can relate to. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching Psych one day, and the creative juices just start to flow. And I figured, you know what, it'd be really funny to pin something about two guys on the opposite social ends of the social spectrum. You know, and these two guys are trying to start a business, make some money. And I'm a big fan of all the ghost hunting shows and all of that stuff. You know, whether you believe in that stuff or not, it's just good entertainment. It's fun to watch. So I started putting the script together, you know, something funny. These two guys that are basically shysters trying to put this fake ghost hunting business together to make some cash. And I was just a real short script, you know, something I thought would be funny and fun to do. And my good buddy Joe here is a very, very talented cameraman. And I mean, he does music. I mean, he's just like the modern day Renaissance guy. I call him JoJo Abrams. And so I ran the script by him, and I'm like, hey man, is there something we can do with this? I think it might be funny, you know, just something we could throw out there on YouTube. And he's like, yeah, let's do that. So he read the script and thought it was pretty good, and so we started doing some screen tests, you know, playing with some new camera technology, and all of a sudden we're sitting there and we're on set, and something just clicked. And I was like, hold up, wait a second, I gotta try something. So I run upstairs, I dig through my closet, and I find an old Halloween costume. I was like, I don't know, Top Gun or something. I had an old flight suit. And so I come running back down the stairs wearing this flight suit, and we didn't even have to.
Yeah, it was just
I mean, it was just like,
automatic.
yes.
There it is.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
We were just like, this is something we are going to do. It's something we have to do.
Wow.
It just made sense. I mean, you had the way the story, the dynamic, it was very similar. It was very reminiscent to the original Ghostbusters. It had all the trimmings of the Ghostbusters. You have these two guys, they're in their 30s. They're a little bit younger than the original cast. But, you know, they're, you know, one's in the actual college scene, and he's going to get his PhD. The other one is, you know, he's a very intelligent character, but he just kind of doesn't apply himself. And
Right.
so you have, you know, two guys just completely from total opposite ends of the social coin. You know, basically, very good friends living together, and you see this dynamic. And there's where I think the story really starts just kind of blossoming. And then you see the interaction and how they want to start their own business. And
Right.
so it has all those elements of trying to get your own business, you know, like the things that made the
Yes.
first one really clever. And so, yeah, just when you see how it meshes together, I think that it's just really lucrative to see these two guys really try and make something out of nothing, you know, or
Absolutely.
Ghostbusters. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And you know what? That's something that brings me to another point. You know, when we started talking about doing this film, I think one of the first things that I wanted to do is start looking at what the fans had been producing, because I, at that point, had never seen a Ghostbusters fan film. And so I got on the internet and started snooping around, and you guys have put some really cool stuff out there. And so what I wanted to do was basically build on the incredible cinematic universe that the fans have created. I mean, we want to stay true to what made Ghostbusters funny.
Yeah.
I love the wide variety of this nationwide, at worldwide now. I mean, there's a group in Germany. There's groups all over the place.
Yeah.
That are putting these fan groups together, and so we wanted to stay within the realm of that Ghostbusters universe to pay homage to you guys, because you put some really awesome, really funny, entertaining stuff out there.
To say
I'm sure-
ambitious would be an understatement, I think.
Well,
It's kind of, we're kind of like, oh man, is this beyond us? And that's kind of what led us to really want to start pushing for Kickstarter.
Definitely.
For really trying to get support of the fans and the fan base. So
Definitely. I mean, this is a project that we cannot accomplish without you.
absolutely not.
But what we want to do is we want to take the fan film cinematic universe of Ghostbusters to the next level. We want to do something that's never been done before. I mean, there's just so many amazing things out there that we can use to build on. I mean, we've been working with 3D rendering software. We have been working with a lot of these cutting edge film technologies that now are available to the common guy off the street, you know?
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
a lot of time and a lot of investment has already been made into making this project a reality. But to push it over the edge, it's going to require a team effort. It's going to require the entire Ghostbusters fan family to come together and make this really a
Make
reality.
it blossom.
I'm actually new to the whole Ghostbuster costuming, culture. I have been the biggest Ghostbuster diehard fan my entire life. I mean, I remember, when I was little bitty watching that movie and following the cartoon series, and I was making proton packs out of duct tape before, I even had any kind of social skills whatsoever. So, I mean, this is something that, I don't know, I guess has been kind of a dream of mine for a very long time. I mean, Ghostbusters is something that's very dear to all of our hearts. And there's an art form and a purity that we want to maintain in the making of this film. We want to make it original. We want to make it, put our own twist on it, because it's going to be funny, it's going to be fresh, it's going to be new. And we want to build onto that. But at the same time, we also want to give Ghostbusters we want to give this film a legitimacy that makes it believable. And I think that's something that's really important. The first film, what made it so funny is that these guys are doing something that's fantastical, and it's almost like a mundane, like the garbage man, and that's what made it funny. And so we want to try to capture that same atmosphere without duplicating the original movie, but without straying from the core values that made that movie so funny.
Exactly. And also it's like, we were talking earlier, and someone was like, I think you made the joke about creative control, and and it was just so great because, our buddy Indy was like, who really has the creative control?
Right,
It's the masters, as we know, are Ramis and Aykroyd. So
Absolutely.
it's there's just a shadow, and we're not trying to, step on any toes or fill
Not
any
at all.
shoes. We're just trying to tell a story that we can relate to, and I just hopefully the fans connect with it, and that's really where we're at.
Definitely. So basically what we're shooting for is we want a science fiction comedy that's not just all about the sight comedy and the slapstick stuff, although those elements will be there, but we want to also give it a legitimacy. These guys are of believable age.
Yeah.
They have a background that makes it believable. You've got to look at it like any corporation. To start a business, if you're franchising, you have to have some kind of prerequisite skill set, and so that's something that we establish in our film.
Right.
You got to have at least one PhD on the team to be legitimate, and the conflict of our film really comes down to some guys trying to start a business, but they're a little bit out of their element. They're smart guys, but they're just a little in over their heads. And the struggle that it's going to take them to be endorsed and recognized as a franchise. That underdog
Absolutely.
story
Yeah,
is what made Ghostbusters so funny.
exactly.
So I guess really the last question would be, okay, this sounds like this is going to be a really cool project. This sounds like something that I can get into. I'm a
Absolutely.
huge Ghostbusters fan. I enjoy it. And what can I do to help? Well, we can answer that for you right here, right now. This film is not going to be subpar. We are not going to allow ourselves to release a subpar product. And in order to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish at the level of excellence that we want to do it, it's going to require the Ghostbusters fan community to team up and come together. There are so many fan films that have been completely funded through Kickstarter, and they've put out an incredible product. But this is our time. This is Ghostbusters. This is something that every single one of us loved from our childhood. And this is your opportunity to step up and be a part of something that you can be proud of, to be a part of something that you can remember. And when you're sitting in your living room and you're popping that Blu-ray in and you're watching Ghostbusters Legends of the Pearl House, you can say to yourself, I was part of that.
That's right.
My local franchise, Daytona, San Antonio, we were a part of making that film the best film we could possibly make.
By the way, remember your little entrance with the Ecto?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I got something for you, man. You ready for it? You ready for it?
I'm ready for this. What the crap?
What?
Joe,
Joe?